Let's paint up some warriors of Minas Tirith, the brave, heavily armed and armored soldiers that fought for the defense of Osgiliath that you can recreate in the latest Lord of the Rings box set of the same name. I tend to treat Lord of the Rings models like historical figures, so I try to be true to the box art. To facilitate my speed painting, I'm going to use a painting stick and double-sided tape. If you pack them in close enough, you should be able to get all 12 models to fit on one stick. I start by airbrushing all my models with black primer. Mounted on a paint stick, it should be fairly easy to lay down the color on all the models very quickly. Be sure to coat them all the way around. Since these are heavily armored troops, I'm going to go ahead and airbrush some silver on them by mixing 50% plate mail with 50% flow improver and mixing it together really good. I then zenithal highlight the models all the way up and down the stick, making sure that I maintain somewhat of a 30-degree angle, and I try to hit them all the way around. Next, I apply Barbarian Flesh on all the exposed faces. Working with everything on the stick makes it pretty quick because I go from one model onto the next and I just keep on going down the line. Next, apply Oak Brown, which is a nice dark brown, with a broad brush onto all the spear handles as well as all the bows. I wanted an off-white color for the feathers on the arrows, so I use skeletal bone in these areas. I then applied greedy gold onto all the handles and pommels of the swords. Bear in mind that some of these models have sheathed swords and they are towards the back instead of the front of the model. The next color was super useful for me when I painted these models. Grim Black Speed Paint by Army Painter. I put this on all the uniform and pant sections of each model. Where the speed paint really excels is on the shields. I apply a generous amount of this Grim Black onto the flat areas of the shield, very careful to avoid the tree emblem of Minas Tirith. This paint has nice low viscosity and high pigmentation, and this allows it to get into a lot of the nooks and crannies on the shield. Once you're done with this, the shield will look very much like what you would see in the movies or on box art. Next, I use a few more speed paints to paint the hair on the models. I vary them between black, dark brown, and light brown. To paint all the different straps, I use leather brown, and there are many straps on these models, starting with the shin guards, straps on the sword sheaths as well as the quivers, on the handles of the shields, and straps underneath the shoulder pads. Now it's time to place down some wash. I use Strong Tone by Army Painter, and I basically apply this on all areas of the model besides the Grim Black areas. I do the fronts of all the models all the way down the line, and then after that I just turn the stick around and then I do the backs as well. Next, I do the eyes with some matte white. Using a very small brush, I carefully lay them down into the eye sockets of each of the models, and I go down the line, applying all the whites first. Then, with a toothpick, I use some matte black and I dab on the pupils on each of the models. Do this carefully and try to make both eyes look in the same direction. This next step is optional. You can use blood red speed paint and apply it onto any of the open mouths of the models. At this point, I'm all done with painting, so I go ahead and dismount all the models from the stick. Since these are the forces of good, I use a brighter basing material, which is Battlefield Green Grass from Army Painter. This contrasts really well with the darker material that I use for the orcs. I apply some Elmer's glue onto the base and I spread it around with an old brush. And then I dip the base into the basing material and then rub off any excess. And just like that, all 12 warriors of Minas Tirith are done. This entire group took me just 1.5 hours to paint up. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can follow the rest of this series. Good luck defending the ruins of Osgiliath, happy hobbying, and I will see you the next time.